Hey everybody, Carissa here. Thank you so much for joining me for a breath-inspired practice today. We always focus on the breath in our asana practice, but today even more so with a couple of different pranayamic techniques to help build and increase our lung capacity and help decrease stress and anxiety in today's world. So go ahead and get ready and I'll jump right in with you. We will start laying down on our backs, and I think everyone's already muted, awesome. And we'll lie down flat on our back, and your choice, if you would like to bring a rolled up blanket underneath your heart space. So if you'd like, you can also lay down completely flat on your back. And if you have the blanket rolled up, you'll want that to land just right at the tips of the shoulder blades, maybe almost roll over the blanket a little bit. And then once you find a good spot for your upper body, we'll go ahead and extend the legs out long. And let the hands and arms sprawl out as well. And allow yourself to gently start to soften through the body, soften through your gaze, softening any tension on the forehead or the jaw. A quick little body scan to soften all of the different parts of your body. And then once you feel that softness and that lightness through the body, just simply start to bring your attention to the breath. So no need to make any modifications. We're just simply noticing the way that our breath is naturally flowing in and out of the body at this moment. And so when I'm just starting to tap in, I like to just kind of give myself notes to self. So am I noticing that my breath is perhaps a little bit short, maybe a bit rushed? Does it feel like I'm not using the full capacity of my lungs? Or am I already feeling pretty relaxed? Just simply taking note. And as you begin to feel more in tuned and aware of your breath, you're welcome to start gently making some modifications. So as you're ready, you can start to bring your focus to your belly, starting to allow your belly to stay soft and grow and expand with every breath in and out, letting it naturally fall back down. So we'll try and keep the chest as still as possible, really sending our breath down towards the belly and diaphragm. Now that you have your belly, allowing your lungs to expand down and out, we're already starting to increase the capacity of our lungs. And if you have a mantra or an intention that you would like to set today, you're welcome to place that right in the heart center, right in between the lungs. That heart chakra that is associated with that air element as well. And if you'd like to join me, my mantra for today's practice is, I am safe to breathe fully. I am safe to breathe fully. And then we'll go ahead and place both hands stacked on top of one another, right on top of the heart space, sealing in that mantra and intention. You can maybe give yourself a little circular motion right over the heart, just to calm the nervous system. And we'll go ahead and seal that all together with the sound of Om 3 times, taking a deep inhale in, a full exhale out to prepare, and an inhale really feeling into the reverberation of the sound in your chest. Gently fluttering the eyes open, allowing your heart to come up off of the mat and off of your prop, just to come down onto a flat and flush connection of the back of your heart to the earth. And then we'll start to bend one knee at a time, hugging both knees in towards the heart and maybe taking a little bit of a rock side to side, starting to give yourself a little massage, softening through the spine and the back. And then we'll go ahead and extend our feet up towards the ceiling, and then bend the knees out to the side, similar how we would do in child's pose. We're going to keep the inner arches of the feet together as we let the knees press out, creating a bit of a diamond shape with the legs. We'll take a deep inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. And then exhale, really let the air press out of the lungs, starting by pressing the navel down, really expelling the air as you reach through the diamond of your legs. And then we inhale, nice and slow, reaching back. Exhale, reach through, and inhale, come back. So just starting to move slowly, matching the movement of your body with the rhythm of your breath. And if you'd like to bring a little bit more intention to the breath, you can inhale through the nose as you reach back, and then exhale as you reach forward with an audible ha sound out through the mouth. So we'll try that together. Inhale to reach, exhale. And last one. Inhale, come back. Bring the knees together. You can use your hands to help bring your knees together. And we'll let our legs fall to this tabletop in this 90-degree angle. And then we'll start by taking an inhale. Reach the arms up straight towards the sky. Interlace all of your fingers except for the pointer fingers. So you're kind of pointing with this arrow of your hands. And we'll take an inhale, find that length through the sides of the waist. Exhale, use your navel pressing down to help expel the air out of the body and reach towards the left side of your legs. Inhale, center, and you can keep your shoulders up off of the ground here if that's accessible. And then as you exhale, reach towards the right outer side of your legs. So we're coming through center, keeping the navel engaged, shoulders lifted, if you'd like, reaching to the left and right, side to side on the exhales. One more time to each side. Coming back through center, and we release back down to the ground. Go ahead and hug the knees back in. And then we'll rock up and down the length of the spine, coming up to a comfortable seat. Great. So you can sit on top of your blanket if that helps to create a little bit more space in front of your hips. Lovely. And then we'll start by tapping into our Ujjayi breath, right? So we'll come into that ocean-sounding breath, taking a deep inhale and really allowing that inhale to fill up from the belly all the way up as if your whole body was breathing all the way to the top of your crown. And then exhale with that same ha, fogging up the mirror. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Inhale through the nose, and this time we'll continue to breathe out through the nose, but as if you were still using that same motion of your body to create a ha sound, but this time the breath is coming out through the nose. So it should still be an audible breath out, finding that ocean sound. Keeping that Ujjayi breath strong, we'll continue adding some movement to that breath as we inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. We'll exhale with that slight constriction at the back of the throat as we let the right hand come down and we reach up and over. Inhale through the nose. Exhale to the left. Letting the breath be our soundtrack for this beginning part of our practice. One more side to side motion. Inhale back to center. I love seeing all of our little seaweed arms floating together in unison. So much fun. We'll go ahead and interlace the fingers again, pointing straight up, almost squeezing your head with your arms, and then really finding length through the front of the body. And now as we exhale, round through the spine, keeping your head in between the arms, really pull the navel back, rounding through the spine as you aim straight forward. So we'll inhale, breathe in, And you can keep your Ujjayi breath here if that works for you, and really exhale out through the nose, pulling the navel in as you round forward. And one more round, just like that. We inhale back up. And exhale, let the hands fall down to the sides. Lovely. Go ahead and start your playlist if you have it. We'll add some music to the sound of our breath. And then we'll meet all together on all fours. So from all fours, we'll start to move into our asana practice more fully by tucking the toes, and then starting by pulling in all directions of the core towards the midline, head in line with the rest of the spine, and then use your exhale to start to float the knees off of the ground, keeping length through the sides of your waist. And then we exhale, downward facing dog, lifting hips up and back, and you can start to pedal at the legs and feet, bending one knee at a time, maybe finding a nice stretch through the back body, especially the backs of the legs. Keeping awareness of the breath as you move. And then we'll bend both knees and keep the knees bent as you continue pressing into the hands, so really elongating through the spine here. Feel as if your whole spinal column is breathing and elongating. We'll start to walk the hands back towards the back edge of the mat. Keeping the knees a little bit bent, allow your torso to fall on top of the thighs, taking hold of your opposite elbows. Allowing the body to really decompress, maybe shaking out the head. Using your exhales to really allow any sort of stuck energy or emotion that's in the body to fully release. And then we'll go ahead and place the hands on the ground or on the shins as you start to straighten the legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, really pull the navel in. Use that exhale to assist you as you fold forward. We'll do that a couple more times. As you inhale, let the shoulders roll back so you can open up through the front of the heart and the collarbones. And exhale to fold forward. One last round. Lovely. We'll go ahead and bend the knees just a bit so you can start to roll and stack the spine, one vertebrae on top of the other. Once you arrive, give your shoulders a nice roll up, back, and down. And let the palms face forward, standing in our mountain pose. Feeling as if we're sending our breath all the way down to our feet, to that connection with the earth and the ground. And as we inhale, we'll reach both arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale up halfway. And as you exhale, you can start to walk your hands back to the top of the mat. We're coming into a little bit of a plank pose, and you're welcome to keep your knees lifted or drop them down. We're just bringing in the core to help stabilize. And now we're moving the breath from the belly, since the belly is nice and active here, to start breathing into the upper chest, the sides of the ribs, creating space in that upper part of the torso. And then we'll take one last inhale, everything in one long line. Exhale all the way down onto your belly. When you arrive, you can slide your hands back, roll the shoulders together, and then inhale into your cobra pose. And exhale, release down. Another inhale. Exhale to release. And then we'll come to meet in our Sphinx pose. Awesome. So elbows are right underneath the shoulders. Palms are nice and bright, almost pulling your arms back so your heart can shine through. Taking a deep breath in. And then we exhale, round through the spine. Almost like you're coming into a cat pose variation. You can look back towards your belly. Inhale, bring the heart through. And exhale, round through the spine. Last round here. Coming back through Sphinx pose. And then letting the heart come back down. We're going to stack the forearms here, so creating a little bit of a triangle with your arms. And you can allow your forehead to either come on top of the forearms or maybe down through the triangle, all the way down to the ground. Whatever works for your body's geometry. And we're just going to do a little bit of extra breathing awareness here. So now that we're actually on our bellies, we'll start to inhale from the belly, filling up the belly first. Then up through the heart and the upper lungs. And then reversing that breath out. So inhale, breathe through the belly, heart and chest. And then out through the chest, heart and belly. Great. So now we'll reverse that. So we'll start to breathe in from the top of the lungs to the bottom of the lungs, and then into the belly, and then reverse on the way out. So a little bit more of an intentional kind of inward breath that we're paying attention to. And if you would like to match that breath with some movement, we'll come into crocodile pose. So as you lift the upper chest and arms off of the ground, we'll fill up there. As you lift the heart, we fill up. And then find that support with the belly on the ground. And then as you deflate, belly, heart, and chest. So we're very much synchronizing with the breath. Inhale to the top, middle, and bottom as you lift the arms with your head and exhale back down. So keeping the tops of the feet pressing into the ground. We'll do 2 more rounds just like that. Awesome. Go ahead and find your hands back underneath the shoulders, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. So however you would like to get there, maybe through all fours or a reverse push-up, I will meet you there. Taking another deep breath to recenter. And then we'll take another inhale, reaching up and back with the right heel. And then we exhale, bring the knee towards the forehead, pause for just a moment, and then look up and step through your hands. So option to keep the back knee lifted, or you can drop it down. Either way, we'll engage the low belly. And then take an inhale to rise. Continue squeezing the inner thighs together. Shoulders melt down. We'll go ahead and bring the hands in front of the heart. And then exhale to twist towards your front leg. And then maybe find a bind with the arms. So it's a great place to just find a twist. Every time we twist, right, we constrict part of the body. And so that actually tests our lungs to help us find more capacity. And if you're in this bind, you can press into the back of your arm to help you maybe find a deeper twist. And then we exhale, reframe the front foot, and then step our right foot all the way back to that three-legged dog. This time we'll bend the knee and stack the hips open. Lifting from that inner knee, starting to flex the foot in the air, reaching the heel towards the booty. As you open up through the hips, really breathe into both palms nice and evenly. And then we exhale back to our downward facing dog. Take a breath. And then we continue. Left heel up and back. Exhale, knee to forehead, lifting the foot away from the ground as you look up and step through. From here, we'll go ahead and take the option that you did on the opposite side. So back knee is lifted or lowered. Squeeze the inner thighs, engage the low belly, lift the heart off of your leg to inhale up nice and strong. Anjaneyasana, or this high crescent lunge. Continuing to breathe fully, even into the upper part of the heart and the chest, to find that lift through the upper and frontal body. Exhale, hands come to the heart. Lift the heart into the thumbs as you then take your version of a twist. Yeah, great options. So if you have that bind, you can really press the arm into the leg to help you twist a bit deeper. Two more breaths. And then we reframe the front foot and press that left heel up and back, three-legged dog. Bending the knee to then stack the hips open. Continue breathing. Notice where your body is asking for a little bit of extra love. And as you're ready, lower the foot down. We'll go ahead and bend the knees to bring them down to the mat. And then come into a quick child's pose. You can keep the knees together or bring them out wide to the edges of the mat. As you compress the front body, start to breathe and expand into the back body. And then we'll inhale, start to come up, and keeping the knees stacked right below the hips, we'll just start to walk the hands out a little bit further so you can start to drop your heart into puppy pose. So continue knitting the low ribs, stretching the hips up and back, finding that nice long line of energy through the spine. And then we'll come up back to our all fours position. Tuck the toes, and I'll meet you in that downward facing dog. Lovely. So from here, we're going to lift the right leg up and back. Exhale, knee to forehead as you step all the way through. Nice. And so this time, we're going to keep the back knee lifted. And if you have a block nearby, you can bring that to the outer edge of your right foot. Great. And then bring the left hand to your hip. Awesome. So we're going to turn the back foot down and then start to wrap the outer right thigh underneath you for some support. And we're building this bit by bit, starting to turn the torso, stack the shoulders, and then maybe lift the left hand up. So we find ourselves in this extended side angle variation. If this feels okay for you, you can also extend the arm over the top ear. And if you do this, really press into the back edge of your back foot so you feel that stretch from your foot to your hand. Deep inhale in. Exhale, bring the left hand back to the hip. As you gaze down, you can start to straighten your front leg. Continue wrapping the outer right thigh underneath you, knitting the low ribs, and then turning the torso. And you can extend the hand again if that feels good and in balance. Activating the kneecaps, tightening up through the quads, finding your triangle pose. So when I'm in triangle pose, I almost try to think about lengthening the right side of my body, right? So you can get kind of crunched up with the hip. So see if you can lengthen that lower side of the body. One last inhale. Exhale, turn your gaze down, bend the knee, and we reframe the front foot, spike the back heel, and press up and back, downward facing dog, or three-legged downward facing dog. You can bend the knee and stack the hips if that feels good for you. Maybe you want to flip your dog. Reaching. And then we'll all meet in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Three-legged dog. Recenter with a big breath. Before you inhale, lift the left heel up. Exhale, knee to forehead, stepping through. Taking that block or book to the outside of your front foot. Use your left hand to press down and forward. And you can almost find a little bit of a bind or connection between your arm and your knee. So as you connect from the ground up, we can turn the back foot down at an angle, wrap the left hip underneath you, and then start to build from the ground up once more. Turning the chest, maybe extending the arms up or above. Keeping the shoulders hugging together, away from the ears. One more inhale to really reach. And then exhale, right hand comes to the hip as we gaze down. Really press into the ball of your front foot to straighten your front leg. Again, really activating through the thighs, wrapping the hip underneath. And then almost turning these low ribs towards the other edge of the mat, extending into your triangle pose, Trikonasana. Finding length on the sides of your waist. Last inhale here. Exhale, gaze down, bend the front knee. You can move your block out as you meet in that three-legged dog, left leg up and back. And you can stack the hips or flip your dog. Really lifting from the hip points if you flipped your dog. And then exhale. Coming back to center in your downward facing dog. We'll go ahead and roll forward like a wave into plank pose. And then exhale, lower all the way down like a plank of wood onto your bellies. Great. We're going to slide the hands back by the hips, and you can actually keep the palms down on the mat. And as we inhale to come up into locust pose, we'll inhale, lift the heart, slide the hands back on the ground. And exhale, release the heart and forehead back down to the ground. We'll do that 2 more times in our locust pose, sliding the hands back, lifting the heart up off of the ground. Shoulders continue to be engaged, sliding down the back, and we lower down. Last one here. If you'd like to slide your hands back, and then maybe lift from the pinky edges, so your palms are now facing in towards one another. Bring the chin in, gaze right in front of you on the floor. Maybe lift the legs. And exhale, lower down. You can stack the palms underneath your head. Maybe take a little gentle rock side to side with the hips. And then we'll find the hands back underneath the shoulders, pressing up through all fours or your reverse push-up. We'll go ahead and come to our fire toes breath. Or not breath, but fire toes pose. So tucking the toes, we come to sit back on the heels. Great, and I'll turn to face you. So you can keep the knees together, sitting on your heels, and we'll do a little bit of pranayama as well. So we'll start with Nadi Shodhana, which is a alternate channel breathing. So we start by folding in the 3 middle fingers, letting the pinky and thumb come out to the sides. And then we'll close one nostril, take a deep inhale through the open nostril, close and switch. So you exhale through the right in this case. Inhale through that open nostril. Switch when you get to the top and exhale out. So in, switch, and out through the opposite nostril. And last round, even it out. Awesome. We'll go ahead and meet back on all fours. So that Nadi Shodhana breath is a really great one to use during your day. It can really help to rebalance an overactive nervous system, maybe even lower your blood pressure with some continued use, some studies have found. So be sure to keep that one in your back pocket. So from all fours, we'll go ahead and meet in that downward facing dog. And then walk the hands back. And slowly start to stack the spine, coming back to stand. And we'll do a little bit more breathing with our movement. So a lot of y'all have done this with me before. We're going to do our 3 inhales and 1 exhale. So we'll match that with some movement here with our arms. So we'll take an inhale, reach the arms out, reach the hands together and out long. Another inhale to bring the hands in towards the heart. And then we'll exhale. You can kind of find a little bit of a wave up and down. So we'll inhale out, In, and exhale. Last round. Nice. Go ahead and come on up, shake it out. We're going to meet in our goddess stance. Awesome. So feet out wider than the hips, toes pointing in the same direction as your knees. And we're going to do a little bit of a different variation here. So I love doing lion's breath with this goddess pose, but we're actually going to make it a cat-cow variation. So keeping your hands on your upper thighs, we'll take an inhale, roll the shoulders back, inhale, lift the heart. And then as you exhale, take a lion's breath and round through the spine. So a lot of coordination here, but just have fun with the lion's breath. Last one. And we meet back in our nice shoulders stacked over hips. You can take a little bit of a side-to-side motion, whatever feels good. We're really activating the legs. And then take an inhale, reach the arms up, straighten the legs. Exhale, sink back in. And inhale all the way up. And then we're just gonna jump the feet and hands together. Boop. My little sound effects. Awesome. So we'll come back to the back edge of the mat. We're going to do one more sequence before we come on down into our Zen part of the practice. Taking an inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhale as you swan dive forward. Inhale. And then exhale, walk the hands to the top of the mat. So you're in plank pose. And then we'll press the hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right heel comes up. Exhale, step it through. And then finding that same engagement that we have on the other side, we'll go ahead and narrow our stance. So coming up into pyramid pose, keeping the inner thighs hugging together, right hip pulling back in space so you can straighten both legs. Nice foot seal with the back foot. Taking an inhale to lift, exhale, folding over the front leg. Nice. So you can use a block or 2 blocks underneath your hands to bring the ground a little bit closer to you. We'll definitely use them, if you have them, for the next pose. Taking an inhale to come back up halfway. Again, the block comes to the outer edge of your front foot. This time we're going to take hold of it with the opposite hand. So in this case, left hand is on the block, right foot is forward, and then we're using the right thumb in the hip crease to really pull and rotate the right hip back, creating that length through the sides of the waist, and then exhale to turn, finding your reversed triangle pose. So really tapping into the breath here. To twist from the navel. Last cycle of breath, and then you exhale. Come back to frame the front foot, bend the front knee, and then in a really powerful sequence, we're going to come all the way standing up on that right foot and find our eagle pose. So use your inhale to give you that power to inhale, press into the front foot. Bend both knees, wrapping the legs and wrapping the arms. So the left leg is on top and the right arm is on top. So once you find your eagle pose, continue to engage the low belly, sink the hips back, lift the heart into the arms. Deep inhale. And as you exhale, release the arms and legs. And then we're going to shoot the left leg back out to fly. So from the egg and nest out to fly. If that's a lot for balance, you can ground the back foot and you're still hinging forward from the hip to fly above. And then exhale. Hands to the ground. Step it back. Downward facing dog. Recenter, reset. Inhale, left heel up. Exhale, knee to forehead, stepping through. Narrow your stance. Straightening your front leg. Really give yourself an opportunity to pull the left hip back in space. As you inhale up halfway, firm into the muscles of your legs so you're nice and active through your low body. As you then exhale to fold forward. Inhale up halfway, bend into the front knee, and then we'll take that block onto the outer edge of your front foot. Continue to straighten out through the front leg. So I like to kind of bend my knees sometimes when I'm transitioning, but we'll bring the legs straight. Bring the right hand to the block, left thumb into your hip crease to press and pull back. Start to lift from the heart. And then exhale, really use that exhale to bring everything in towards the midline of your torso. And then start to turn and find your revolved triangle. So if you'd like to bend your knee, if that's a little bit more accessible, you can do a revolved side angle. Whatever works for you here, lots of options. And we exhale. Remove the block, reframe the front foot. This time we really bend into it, and we're going to use that strong, powerful inhale to press into the front foot and land in eagle pose. So inhale. And we land. So right leg is on top, left arm is on top this time. Find that same engagement, so really pressing and wrapping the legs and arms into one another. Letting all of that energy come out and into the bind, and then we let it go, branch out, and we fly. So right foot comes back, and you can fly in a warrior 3, arms back, or again, ground the back foot, reach forward with the heart, and exhale, reframe the front foot. And there we go, downward facing dog. Nice. Bending the knees, letting the knees come down to the ground. We'll go ahead and cross the ankles. We can come onto our seat. And then go ahead and stretch out the legs. Nice and long, flexing the toes back towards you, pressing the palms into the ground outside of your hips. And then really just pay attention to this L shape of your body, really reaching up through the crown of the head. Finding that danda, that line from hips to head. And exhale, release the hands. We're going to bring the left foot in towards the inner thigh. Great, coming into Janushirasana. So you're welcome to maybe put that right thumb back into the right hip crease. And then stretch the left arm up. Take an exhale, maybe turning your heart towards the outer pinky of your front foot, and then starting to reach in that direction. So right hip continues pulling back as you fold forward. We'll take an inhale, bring the left arm back up. Plant the hand behind your hips, and then we're going to take that stargazer. So allow your right foot to plant, coming onto the left knee. Nice side body stretch. And then this is a little bit different than we normally do, but we're going to keep the legs like this. Use your hands to walk towards the center of the long edge of your mat. So hopefully you guys can see me. It's like I'm on all fours, but with my right leg out to the side. And then use your hands to come up so you can be kneeling into gate pose. Awesome. From here, we'll let the right hand graze down the right side of our leg, and we'll reach up and over. It's more of a side body stretch here. In gate pose. Coming back through center. Nice. We'll bring the knees in and return to all fours. Awesome. From here, we're going to drop the heart, drop the chin, keep the hips high, knees, chest, and chin, and then lower all the way down onto our bellies. So last belly down, back bend, round. So you can do any of the poses that we did before, maybe cobra, sphinx, locust. Otherwise, I'm going to talk us through bow pose since our bodies are nice and warmed up. So we'll bring the knees close together, hip width distance apart. Bend the knees, take hold of the outer edges of the feet. Engage the shoulders. Engage the chin and your gaze. Take an inhale, really press the feet into your hands to help you lift through the heart. Option to maybe lift the thighs off of the ground as well. Focusing on the breath and how it moves through your body. And we exhale, release back down. Maybe windshield wiper the feet side to side. And then pushing up through all fours. We'll go ahead and cross the ankles, adjust as needed. So we come back to our danda pose. Take a few cycles of breath to re-neutralize in this center pose. And then we'll bring the right foot to the inner thigh. Left thumb to the left hip crease. Reaching the right arm up, really flexing those front toes. Taking an inhale, really give yourself space. Take a subtle twist towards your front leg, and then reach towards the outer pinky toe. Continue pulling the left hip back in space, giving yourself room to stretch and reach. With each breath, activating our parasympathetic nervous system, letting our bodies know, letting our minds know that everything is all right. Coming back up with the arm overhead. We go ahead and plant it behind us and then come up onto your knee, finding a foot seal with the left foot. Stargazer pose. walking the hands in front of you. So that way you can come up onto your gate pose. Let the left hand slide down the outer leg as you reach up and over. Continue bringing the low ribs towards the front, your front. And we come back up, kneel, and then come to sit back in the center of the mat. Awesome. So from here, we'll go ahead and rock down one vertebrae at a time. Great. And then we'll start to bring the soles of our feet together. Let the knees fall out wide. And then you can bring one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly. So we still have a few more shapes in our practice, but returning to the breath, we'll start exploring our Kumbhaka pranayama. Kumbhaka meaning breath retention. So we'll start nice and easy. We'll take an inhale. Again, allowing the body to be soft so you can expand and breathe through the belly. And at the top of your inhale, we'll just hold for 3 seconds. And exhale out. So see what works for your body today. We'll gently increase. So we'll inhale again. And really fill up your lungs as much as you can, right? We're intentionally trying to increase our lung capacity here. So at the top of that breath, we'll hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and release the breath. Inhale this time. Holding at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then letting it go. So all of our bodies will respond differently to this breath retention. So see if you can find a number to count down from that feels comfortable for your body, that's not too much of a stretch or that elicits its own stress response. So if you'd like to continue, we can try to hold for 6 seconds. 7, 8, 9, 10 is probably the max we want to try right now. But start to experiment, see what your body is calling for. This breath retention pranayama is a great one to do at the end of any practice or maybe right before bed. Really helps to slow down our breathing. And we'll do one last round of breath retention, really feeling in to your feet, pressing in together, the fullness of your breath in your body, with that tactile touch of your hands on the torso. And as you're ready, we'll take that final release with the breath. Using your hands on the outsides of your knees to help bring your knees back together. And then we'll take our happy baby pose. So see if you can find a nice flush connection of your sacrum to the ground, bringing the legs up and out. Letting the elbows come on the inside of your legs, taking hold of the outer edges of the feet. And you can let your tailbone start to reach down, so elongating through the lower spine. Really basking in the fullness of your breath, what it feels like to be alive in this moment. Maybe stretching out one leg and then the other, nice and easy. And as you're ready, we'll release the feet back down to the ground. If you'd like to take a last bridge pose here, you're welcome to plant the feet, lift the hips, and then just gently replant all of the vertebrae down to the ground, letting your feet reach out long. Feet and hands splay out wide. And then we'll take that same quick body scan that we did at the beginning of our practice, just allowing everything from the crown down to the toes to soften, to really lie heavy into the support of the ground. And notice back to that basic breath awareness, how your breath naturally falls at this point. Do you notice that your breaths are perhaps more elongated, or more even, more full than when we initially began? All of these pranayama exercises, in addition to the movement of our bodies, really help to release anxiety from the body, to complete those stress response cycles, so we're not constantly living in a state of chronic stress, right? We can use our body's activities to help us get through what we need to get through, but then to also complete that cycle, to allow our bodies to return to a restorative state. So practicing pranayama, which is basically the practice of extending your life force energy or amplifying your life force energy, has also been shown to help with sleep, to ease pain, to help increase attention and focus, and enhance our general well-being. So just basking in the benefits of our pranayama. We'll just sink in to our current state of being. And as you're ready, we'll start to return our awareness to that deep sense of breath, Returning awareness, maybe starting to move fingers and toes, reconnecting with the body and with the present moment. And reaching up overhead and rolling onto your favorite side of the body, making sure to bend your knees. And then pressing into the top hand. We'll come back to a comfortable seat. If you have a blanket you'd like to sit on, you're welcome to make it extra comfy and cozy. And then we'll go ahead and bring the hands together. Bring that life force energy, that prana, back into the palms, rubbing the palms together. And then similar to the way that we began, we'll just stack the palms right on top of the heart. Feel those circuits through the body complete. And holding your intention or your mantra, we'll go ahead and seal our practice with one final Om. Taking a deep inhale to prepare. A full exhale out. And an inhale to chant. Palms gently come together. Thumbs to the third eye, in honor of strong thoughts, strong and true words, and strong heart. Namaste.